B, he, him, coming out of Virginia. How do you deal with theists refusing to accept sex and gender being different? B, you're on Talk Heathen with Phil Ferguson and Johnny P. Angel. How do we deal with it? Well, let me ask you, how do you deal with it?
Well, what I tried to do is send him links to a bunch of articles from like gender studies and the World Health Organization and all these other things. And his response, apparently, I mean, I'm not really talking to him directly, I have to go through an intermediate, is there's some sort of conspiracy, except he rejects the notion of the word conspiracy, that the LGBT community is rewriting history and everyone has a mental illness, and it's kind of ridiculous to the point where we've moved even deeper than rejecting transgenderism, or however you want to call it. Just rejecting the notion that society gets to decide what words mean. And it's just, my entire friend group, such as this, is utterly baffled because it's just coming across as so, how could you possibly think this way?
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're talking with friends who don't accept a difference between sex and gender. Is that right?
It's just one person in what amounts to a friend group. But yes, and it's because back in the day, whenever that was, sex and gender were interchangeable, he thinks that we've ruined the words by changing their meaning.
Oh, I'm so sorry that he feels that way. Phil, I don't really. Phil, you want to take this one?
Not really. I'm very sympathetic to this problem, and it's not just this topic, but a lot of topics. Sometimes what you can do is not discuss the specific topic that you want to discuss, but discuss how we evaluate things, other things in the world. Usually my combat is more with religion. And if I tell someone who has a specific religion that what they think is absurd or crazy, you're not going to win that battle. At least you're not likely to. But maybe if I can pick something else that they think is hooey and help them practice the ways of thinking about things and evaluating opinions and positions and evidence, that may allow them at some point in the future to look at the subject that is near and dear to your heart and have the better skills to understand what they're missing from your perspective. And maybe that would be more pleasant of a conversation, maybe more productive of a conversation. I don't know. I'm not really sure how to go at it head on like you're talking about. I don't know that that's going to work.
Yeah. Do you feel compelled to be the person that changes this friend's mind on this subject?
It's kind of complicated, but given that there's another group of people who really hate this person because they think this way, I'm kind of, and I can't really stop them because I have no control over them. I was trying to dissuade him from going around saying these things and encouraging people to hate him so much.
Well, let me ask you, B, is this person religious?
Very.
Oh, there we go. See, I bet you people in the chat, I didn't see it, but they're like, why are we talking about this all the time? And we're talking about this all the time because religious people, some religious people, got their marching orders from a book that tells them, well, and preacher people who have read that book and decide to take a little spin and say, the book says it's got to be
what
X.
People think the book says.
ain't two ways about it. There's only there's men, and there's women, and there ain't no between or outside of that. And there are others who are religious people that are like, well, it doesn't really talk about that, does it? So let's talk about some other stuff that's more relevant to the book. But there are also and folks in the audience, I know this from the comments, and I know this from real life, folks who don't claim any beliefs in God or gods and magic spells, that there is no difference between sex and gender, because that's what they learned growing up. That's what their mammy and pappy told them, and their grandpappy and grandmammy as well. And so they learned something a long time ago, and they are fixed in believing it, and they're going to stick with it. It ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, it ain't broke for them. So, but this person is religious, and so that makes it a little easier. Do they ever cite to their holy book of choice as the justification for there being no difference between sex and gender? Because I don't remember that being in any holy book that I've ever read.
That's kind of where it gets weird, because they flat out refuse to read the Bible.
Cool.
Rather, they think they have read the Bible by virtue of, as a child, reading a children's Bible.
Wow.
To the point where someone, as a joke, sent him an actual Bible with the message, now you no longer have an excuse. And to answer your question, no, he does not cite the Bible because he does not know what's in the Bible. But the Bible is cited to him quite often.
Right.
And it's just very frustrating, this flat-out rejection of science, because science is not infallible. Science has been wrong, and he is convinced that science is wrong about sex and gender being two different things. And
yeah, I think if you're up for it, maybe the tact that you could take, contrary to my previous comments, if they don't know the Bible, maybe you start pointing out some really horrible shit in the Bible, and see what they think about that. It's rough.
You've done that?
Yes, I have. He's pro-birth, so I point out the whole ritual of the bitter waters and how no, the Bible is not anti-abortion. It's very much, it gives instructions on how to do it, and all this stuff like slavery and his. I don't know how to describe it. I'm dealing with him mostly over the internet because of reasons, and primarily having to do with COVID. But it's like I get in a verbal fist fight with him. He curls up into a ball and says, "I don't want to fight anymore." And so I go, "Okay, I won't fight with you anymore." And then he gets back up and starts fighting again. Like, well, do you want to fight or not?
Who starts the conversations? B, first of all, B, let's give this person a name. It doesn't have to be the real name.
Well, that's where it gets kind of, okay, V.
I'm just going to call him Clyde, okay? We're going to call him Clyde. All right, Clyde. For purposes of this podcast, Clyde is your conversational partner. Who starts the conversation? Is it you or is it Clyde?
If you ask Clyde, well, first off, it's not me.
I'm asking you. Okay, you say it's not you.
He refuses to talk to me, so he's talking to friends of mine who are kind of coming to me and saying, here's what he's saying. How do you think we should handle it? So we're all very confused.
Yeah.
But if you ask Clyde, he'll say other people bring it up.
Right.
But from our perspective, it's him who will bring it up quite often. and we'll just follow up on what he said. And
Yeah.
according to him, by following up on what he said, we're bringing it up.
Let's
I don't
get
understand.
specific. When Clyde brings it up, what specifically is Clyde saying? Is it a smorgasbord of things that's just coming out of Clyde's brainstem, or is it maybe one issue that Clyde keeps hammering with you and your friends, mostly your friends, and then they come to you?
If I had to put a broad label on it, it's the LGBT community is ruining the world.
Right. Okay. Well, so Clyde is what you call a bigot, and belongs to a group of individuals who are, I really hope and pray to Jesus, my Lord and personal Savior, is fading away out of relevance. Every year there are fewer of them. Every year they become more like a Cro-Magnon. They're like dinosaurs. Those who stayed after the asteroid hit, slowly but surely, there's fewer and fewer of them. They exist in small enclaves, in small pockets where their ideas are protected, but generally speaking, they are fading away. This is my hopes and dreams. But yeah, I'm going to say this. I don't know if you are the person who is going to convince them that they are, maybe, I don't want to say wrong, but we can't all be the person that fixes, and I put that in quotation mark, fixes a person's thinking, right? The best thing for Clyde, and the worst thing maybe for the LGBTQ community, probably would be for Clyde to have more conversations, to meet more people in the LGBTQ community. And then Clyde would have to justify Clyde's shitty attitude towards them. But probably Clyde hides from people who would challenge his worldview. Of course, I'm writing a lot on top of poor Clyde. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It may be a step away.
pretty correct.
It may be you just step away, and sending someone reading materials isn't necessarily going to do anything, because they're not going to read it. He obviously isn't much of a reader, this Clyde. He can't even be bothered to read his holy book, which is the book that tells him how to not burn forever in a
The
lake of
romance
fire.
on
He doesn't even
salvation
want to
is
read
not
that.
important enough.
Yeah, that's not important enough. So why would he give a hoot about the realities of being LGBT? Yeah, I don't know. I say, B, don't beat yourself up on this. Recall that, remember that you don't owe it to Clyde. I mean, I think we all have a personal responsibility to try to make the world a better place. That's personal belief. Maybe Clyde isn't the hill that you die on. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're gonna move on. I do appreciate you calling in, B.
Thank you.
But yeah, if you have any success, I keep saying this, but if you have any success with old Clyde, I would also encourage you to go to Discord, maybe share your thoughts there. Maybe there's been some people there who've had some success with their own personal Clydes, but maybe not. But remember, there's other people that need your love and attention and conversation as well. Who knows? Maybe Clyde, after Clyde has alienated himself from others, will second guess, but probably not. Clyde will just find other Clydes. They're out there. You take care, B, and we're going to move on.